You ever wonder why so many brilliant, passionate people start a business they absolutely love, only to find themselves completely exhausted and just miserable a year later? Well, today we're cracking open a game-changing book, The E-Myth Revisited, to get to the bottom of why this happens, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it.
Okay, let's just start with the cold, hard facts. The US Bureau of Labor, well, they paint a pretty tough picture for small businesses. Get this, after just 1 year, 20% are already gone. By year 5, half of them have closed their doors. And after a decade, only about a third are still around. It's a brutal reality, but why? What is going on here?
So, we all have ideas about why they fail, right? We hear the usual stuff. Oh, they weren't passionate enough, or they ran out of money, or they didn't hustle hard enough. But here's the secret. Most of the time, those are just symptoms. The real disease, the root cause, is a fundamental trap that almost every single new business owner falls right into. To really get it, let me tell you a story that might sound, well, a little too familiar. Let's talk about Lisa, an amazing soap maker. So Lisa, she was a true artist. Her soaps were incredible, and her friends were always saying, Lisa, you have to open a shop. So you know what? She did. But just 6 short months later, that dream had become a total nightmare. She was drowning in work, orders, inventory, trying to manage people. She was working 24/7, completely exhausted. And here's the worst part. She was starting to hate making soap, the one thing she used to love more than anything. Lisa's story is the perfect example of what the author Michael Gerber calls the entrepreneurial myth. And it's this really dangerous, fatal assumption that if you're good at the technical thing, baking the pies, writing the code, and making the soap, that you'll automatically be good at running a business that sells that thing. But as Lisa found out the hard way, doing the work and building a business that does the work are two completely, totally different jobs. So why is it so different? Well, because the moment you start a business, you're not just one person anymore. You suddenly become 3 people all at once. And the biggest battle you're fighting, it's happening inside your own head. You see, every business owner is actually juggling 3 different personalities. You've got the entrepreneur, that's the visionary, the big idea person. Then there's the manager, the practical one who loves spreadsheets and brings order to the chaos. And finally, you have the technician, the doer, the craftsperson who just loves doing the actual work. The problem isn't that you have these 3 roles. The problem is that they're constantly at war with each other. And this is where that internal tug of war really starts. The technician just wants to live in the present and do the work. But the entrepreneur is always living in the future, dreaming about what could be. See, most of us start a business because we're great technicians, but we're suddenly forced to also be a manager and an entrepreneur, 2 hats we were never taught how to wear. And the result? It's almost always burnout. So just take a second. Be honest with yourself. Which one of those roles is eating up all of your time and energy right now? Are you stuck being the technician, doing all the things all the time? Because until you get those 3 parts of you to work together, your business is just going to keep spinning its wheels. Now, this internal conflict, it doesn't just cause a little stress. It actually creates a super predictable and super painful path that most businesses follow as they try to grow. Let's call it the 3 phases of burnout. Okay, so it usually starts in a phase called infancy. This is where you literally are the business. You do everything. You work insane hours, but hey, at least you're in control. Then, if you make it through that, you hit adolescence. This is when you hire your first person, but you just can't let go. You micromanage everything because you're thinking, nobody can do it as well as I can. This is where the real pain starts. And finally, you hit the breaking point. You are completely fried. The business has taken over your entire life, and you realize you have to make a choice. Evolve or get out. And this all leads to the most powerful, brilliant aha moment in the whole book. Michael Gerber just lays it out perfectly. If your business depends on you hustling, you don't own a business, you own a job. And he says it's probably the worst job in the world because you can never go home and your boss is a total lunatic. Okay, that was the hard part, I promise. The good news is there is a way out of this trap. The solution is a really powerful shift in how you think, and Gerber calls it the franchise mindset. Here's the crucial shift you have to make. You have to start working on your business, not just in it. So how do you do that? Simple. You build it from day one, as if you were planning to create 5,000 more just like it. Now, even if you have 0 plans to franchise, this little thought experiment changes everything. It forces you to build a business that runs on systems, not on specific people. And that includes you. Just think about McDonald's for a second. It didn't become a global behemoth because it hires the world's greatest chefs, right? No. It succeeded because it has a nearly flawless system,
A 16-year-old could walk in on their first day, follow the steps, and produce the exact same burger every single time. That's your new job. You have to stop being the superstar chef and start writing the recipe book that anyone can follow.
So how do you actually do this? It's not some kind of magic trick. It's a step-by-step process. Let's walk through the blueprint for building this kind of freedom. A clear 7-step plan to take any business from chaos to maturity.
But first, the biggest change has to happen right up here, in your head. You have to fire yourself from the technician job. Your new role is not to be the star player on the court, making every shot. It's to be the coach on the sidelines, designing the plays that guarantee your team will win.
And here are the plays. This is the blueprint. It all starts with your vision. What does this business look like when it's completely done? That's your North Star. Then you organize your company with a clear chart so everyone knows exactly what they're responsible for. Step 3, this is the big one. Building systems for everything so you deliver a consistent, amazing result to your customers every time. Only then can you staff those systems with the right people, market your now reliable product, master your finances so you actually know your numbers, and finally, commit to continuous improvement. This is it. This is the path from owning a job to truly owning a business.
The E-Myth gives us both the diagnosis and the cure for why so many small businesses struggle and fail. It was never about working harder, it's about working smarter by building systems that do the work for you. So that leaves us with just one last question for you to think about. What is the very first, simplest process in your business that you are going to write down? Just start there.